It still annoys me that Star Trek Insurrection didn't reignite Picard's best love story. For a movie that's supposed to be about rediscovering lost youth, Star Trek Insurrection feels oddly lifeless when it comes to Captain Jean-Luc Picard's love life. Sure, there's a brief romantic subplot involving the Serene Baku woman Anij, but for longtime Star Trek The Next Generation fans, it was a frustrating missed opportunity. Because if there was ever a perfect moment to reignite Picard's best love story, the slow-burning, beautifully complex connection he shared with Dr. Beverly Crusher, Insurrection was it. From their earliest scenes in TNG, the chemistry between Picard and Crusher was undeniable. Gates McFadden and Patrick Stewart shared a natural, unforced intimacy that made every conversation between their characters sparkle with subtext. They weren't just colleagues or old friends. They were something more. The show toyed with the idea of a deeper relationship numerous times, hinting at their romantic past, teasing their future, but always pulling back before they truly crossed the line. The tension became part of the show's emotional fabric. So when Star Trek transitioned to the big screen, many fans hoped that the movies would finally give Jean-Luc and Beverly the resolution they deserved. First Contact gave Crusher some great moments and showed how well she and Picard functioned under pressure. Generations hinted at their personal connection, with Crusher providing emotional grounding after the Enterprise D's destruction. By the time Insurrection came along, the third TNG film, there was ample narrative space to push their relationship forward. And what did we get instead? A throwaway romance with a one-off character who would never be mentioned again. This isn't a knock against Anij or actress Donna Murphy. She brings grace and a quiet strength to the role. But the story never gives her or the romance enough time to resonate. The relationship feels like an obligation. Well, we're doing another movie, and Picard's single again, so give him a love interest. It lacks stakes. It lacks history. And it ultimately lacks payoff. Compare that to what could have happened if Insurrection had chosen to explore the Picard-Crusher dynamic. The movie's entire theme revolves around rejuvenation, rediscovery, and making the most of time. What better metaphor could there be for rekindling a long-dormant love between two people who have always danced around their feelings? The metaphasic radiation rejuvenates their bodies. Why not their hearts? Imagine a version of Insurrection where Picard, wrestling with the moral implications of the Federation's actions, finds clarity not in a romance with a stranger, but in the support and challenge of someone who knows him intimately. Beverly Crusher is uniquely positioned to call Picard out on his hypocrisy, support his defiance, and still soften his edges. Their mutual respect has always been the foundation of their bond. Add the emotional vulnerability of the plot and a setting that encourages people to live more fully, and you've got all the ingredients for a romance that could have been both earned and enduring. Instead, the film sidelines Crusher entirely. She's present, yes, but her role is minimal. A few lines of exposition, some mild technobabble, and then she vanishes into the background. It's a waste of one of TNG's most beloved characters, and a betrayal of a relationship that fans had invested in for over a decade. Worse still, it's emblematic of how Star Trek films often fail to juggle their ensemble cast, favoring Picard and Data while marginalizing others. But in this case, it's not just a missed character beat, it's a missed emotional crescendo. And the true sting came years later with Star Trek Picard, which finally confirmed that Jean-Luc and Beverly did eventually have a romantic relationship, and a son, no less. But by that point, the revelation felt like a band-aid. The emotional development we craved had happened off-screen, decades later, as exposition. What we needed was the moment, the decision, the risk. And Insurrection could have delivered it. It's not as though Star Trek shies away from romance. From Sisko and Cassidy to Riker and Troy, love stories have long added depth to its characters. And Picard, the famously reserved captain, deserved a relationship that felt earned and profound. Not a fling on a paradise planet, but something that reflected his history, his growth, and his vulnerability. Crusher was that relationship. So yes, it still annoys me. Because Insurrection wasn't just a middling star,